Okay. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Double A Heff here with my co-host from the podcast, M.A.S Media, Big Mike.
Hey, hello everybody. Jesus Christ, man. This is uncharted territory. I for one can't tell you how excited I am to be able to embark on this journey with my good co-host and look forward to bringing you guys an awesome episode today. All right?
Awesome. Yeah, let's do it. So obviously, Mike, we've already, you know, previously discussed what we're talking about, but for those of you who can't read the title, we're going to be discussing
Oh,
Planned Parenthood, aka abortion. So we're going to be playing a clip from none other than Jessie Lee Peterson. Uh,
Jesse. Jesse.
Messy Jesse.
Jesse. Jesse.
Amazing.
I want to start this off by saying I'm already triggered. I'm already triggered.
So we're gonna be
Uh,
using Jesse as a backdrop, and then we're gonna chime in, like we normally do. So let's do this. Ready, Mike?
yeah.
All right. Oh shoot!
I've got
Hold
a
on,
lot of
hold on,
family here,
hold
some of
on,
whom are here in the
hold on, hold on, hold all the way on, hold on. Ah, damn, bitch, in my ears. All right, Mike,
Give me
you
time.
still your eardrums good?
Yeah. I'm good. I'm good.
All right, I don't know why that shit was so damn loud. All right, let's go now.
here in the audience tonight. I also had my first abortion at the Seattle Planned Parenthood.
Oh shit!
Yay!
Oh no! Oh, they cheering that shit. What the fuck? Oh hell no!
Yes,
Notice I
honey.
said
Yes.
first.
Yes.
I said first,
Yeah.
and I don't want Seattle. I don't want you guys to feel
Oh.
insecure. It was my best one.
What? You fucking heathen bitch! The
If I
fuck?
could Yelp review it,
All right, now you're doing too much. See, but hold on.
Uh,
That's my
I,
point right there. They're trying too hard. If
um.
you could Yelp review it, come on, man. Come
All
on, you
right.
you selling that? You selling that?
Okay. All right. Full disclosure. I wouldn't go around broadcasting this thing. But I do commend her on her ability to be able to take you know a very traumatic experience for many, and to internalize it in a way in which she can now go on many forums and have this conversation in a way that gets people inviting to share their own experiences.
Nah,
Because you heard them. They were cheering her like
nah.
it was like Michael Jackson came on stage. I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah, I'm not gonna. Michael Jackson rose from the dead. That's as soon as she started talking. So
No,
hey, beat
do
it.
not do no.
Oh,
That's
oh,
sacrilege. Do not equate this fucking woman to the great,
no.
the late Michael Jackson, man. That ain't even
Uh,
on no level is that cool, bro.
yeah, I'm not equating her. I'm equating the sound that came in my ears because you didn't have the sound together. So because of that, it sounded like 1996 in South Africa. So
All right, you know
Michael
what?
Jackson live. All right. So I suggest you
Nah.
continue before I get more disrespectful and churlish.
Oh, I'm ready for you. I'm ready.
I
Woo!
I'm ready.
totally would.
Uh,
Welcome
uh,
to the Father State. I'm Jesse Lee
thank God.
Peterson.
Woo.
Abortion is still one of the most divisive issues in America today. I have with me Dr. Willie Parker, an OBGYN specializing in abortions. He's also the author of Life's Work, a moral argument for choice. Dr.
I hate
Parker
Jesse.
has been featured in Esquire, NPR, New York Times, Rolling Stone, Newsweek, and more. Thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.
What made you decide, you know what, I'm going to do abortions?
Somebody once said, when you wrestle with your conscience
I'm
and you
sorry.
lose, you actually win. And for me, that
What?
wrestling with conscience started about 14 years ago. The reality is that 1 in 3 women in this country, by the time they're age 45, will have an abortion.
Amazing.
And it's the most common.
Hold on. See, look. Just because that's the sick and twisted fucking reality that we live in right now, doesn't
Hmm.
justify it. Like you can't use something like that to justify it. Especially someone that's a fucking doctor. Like, come on, dude, just because that's the societal quote unquote norm right now doesn't mean it's fucking right.
I don't know if he got to his justification yet.
He led
Um,
with that. That was he asked him a direct question. What made
I
you get
know,
into
but I
abortions?
understand what the I understand what he asked him, but I think that he's just on the precipice of diving deeper into the mentality behind why he's going this route. I'm not saying he's not going that right, but I'm saying I still haven't yet to hear the full breadth as to what his thing is. I can see where you're coming from, but I am looking forward to hearing what he has to say. Sorry,
Let's see.
but not sorry.
Healthcare procedure that is offered is also one of the safest, but it's also one of the most controversial because it is a decision that is unique to women. My
Oh,
awareness as a physician of what
oh,
happens to women when that care is not available convicted me around what it meant to be a woman's health care provider and to be a Christian, which
oh my
ultimately
God.
led me to conclude that there was nothing doctrinally or specific about abortion in sacred texts, whichever one you're talking about, nor was there anything that prohibited women from having control of their lives and their bodies to make the same decisions that men are entitled to make as moral agents.
That's amazing.
Okay, hold
Mm.
on. So first
No,
and
you heard him,
foremost,
right? You heard Jesse.
yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah. I'm
That's
about to stop
amazing.
that right there. So first and foremost,
Woo.
um, an issue that I have, one of the biggest issues that I have with how, like, look, I'm not living in a stone age. I get it.
Hmm.
Abortion is like a normal thing. You know, it happens literally every fucking day. I get that. But this whole thing about, oh, women having the right and stuff like that, that's where I draw the line. No.
Oh.
If a man and a woman lay down together and have a baby, I don't want to hear, oh,
Hmm.
it's my body. I don't want to hear, oh, it's my baby. Oh, it's my choice. No, it's not. Because without that man making that choice, whether it be a silly choice or a good choice, he still made a choice to implant his seed inside of your egg. So
Oh.
you're missing me with all of that. Oh, woman's choice. Like, no, no, that's a
Hmm.
huge problem. Women get to just up and decide whether they want to have an abortion or not, regardless of whatever the man says. I know they have laws where married women aren't supposed to be able to have abortions, but they still obviously, like, there's loopholes, and it still happens.
Yes.
So that's a huge issue that I have. Like, I'm not sitting here saying that I would then be for abortion, because no, I'm still not for that shit. But at least if you're gonna have it the way it is, at least the man should have a say in that shit.
Hmm.
You know
Okay.
what I'm
I mean,
saying?
I think I get what you're saying. I just think that the where the doctor is coming from so far from where I can surmise, I don't see it being too outlandish. Simply just from the fact that he's speaking on a point that is kind of universal as far as saying that the woman should have a choice. Now, if he was to lead in with saying that he can't believe that men are shirking women's ability to make that choice, then absolutely, I think I would get where you're coming from with your stance. But as of now, as of what he's explaining, I mean, he's just championing. I think we were using this word heavily these days, but he's championing the just the ability for women to have the choice to make that decision, and
No, yeah,
I
I
can't
get
for
that.
one have a
That's
problem
my
with that.
point. I get that. But when the
Right.
woman's quote unquote right to make that choice usurps the male's right, then that's where the issue lies for me.
I see. So I get that, but at the same token, that I think I do want to insert this question. Then do you think there's any merit behind the argument? Because I believe that this does have some stain, as far as the 9 month argument. You know what I mean? Like they're the ones that are holding on to this baby, that are carrying the baby throughout the duration. You know what I mean? For the most part, the man's not holding any really responsibility in that regard. So the throwing up, the late nights,
What's
the
that got to
bags.
d- well, what's that got to do with
So
anything? Like,
so as far as the why more of you're talking about the usurping of when it comes to decision making with regards to the men in this situation. I mean, at some point or another, do you believe there's any weighted, you know, justification for why the woman would have more of a say so in that matter,
no, I don't
based
think there's,
upon
I don't
those
think there's
things?
any justification. I think that they try to use such claims like you just said about,
Uh
oh,
huh.
we carried a baby for 9 months. Stuff like, look, it's fucking biology. That's what it
Oh.
is. Okay, human biology is, we're mammals. Look at the mammal kingdom. That's what happens. The woman carries the
Hmm.
fucking baby. Excuse my language, but that it's not fucking exclusive to human women. So I'm tired of
Right.
hearing that fucking trope. Like, get over yourself. If you don't want that fucking responsibility, then fucking keep your legs closed. That's a crazy idea, huh? Like, oh, you know, I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious because look,
no, I
look,
know you are.
no, no,
That's
no,
what my
look,
reaction is.
look. If my yeah, if my wife was like, look, I'm carrying this baby, so once the baby comes out, you know, I get 70% in everything of the say, and you get 30%. Nah, first of all, that ain't happen. She would never say that because I want to marry her, obviously. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
that would
no,
never happen. But like, say she tries some funky style bullshit like that, she got another thing
funky
coming.
stuff.
Another thing coming. Because I'm not beat for that.
I mean, but we're talking about the beginning stages. We're not talking about once the baby comes out.
But if you want to sit here and say about the whole 9 months thing,
Correct.
then
That's the beginning stage.
of the baby,
Correct. That's only
okay,
9 months in retrospect to its whole life.
yeah,
So
but
I would consider
women
that.
use that. They use that as like some kind of like launching point for their argument. Like, oh, we carried a baby
Yes,
for 9 months. So now we
absolutely.
get to fucking do whatever we want to do, tell you whatever we want to tell you. You ain't
I
shit,
don't.
nigga.
Oh wow.
Trifling ass
I
nigga.
think.
Why you ain't
Wow.
pay child
That.
support, nigga?
Yo, I think I think you're pulling in, the next 18 years, with that whole oh, my phone's going on. With that
Yo,
whole argument,
9 months.
because you're talking about child support already. The baby hasn't even come out yet.
Yeah, but hold on. My
God
wife,
forbid she
my
gets an
wife is
abortion.
pregnant right now.
Correct.
Look, her feet get swollen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But she's going through a lot. She's peeing a lot, stuff like that. I get it. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day,
Mm.
like we didn't go into this not knowing. Like we're the first humans to fucking actually practice some shit like this. Like, oh, we're gonna give birth to a new human being. Like, no, this shit's been going on for thousands of fucking years. So it's not a
Right.
fucking an excuse. It's not a fucking trump card. Like, oh well, I get to carry it. So like that's nothing new. That's not nothing new.
Mm.
That's the only way
Mm.
we're bringing the baby forth. So you best believe you fucking carrying it. Who the fuck else gonna carry it? And if you don't want to carry it, then I'm talking to the wrong one.
Hmm. All right. So I definitely want to hear more about this conversation from these two.
All right,
So
let's go.
Amazing. How is abortion a health care procedure?
So when a woman has a pregnancy that affects her health, or that she decides to end, if she doesn't have an opportunity to end it safely, anything that risks or ends that poses a risk to your health is a healthcare issue.
But it's not a health care issue it's a health care issue for the baby, the unborn child, and that you're
that's
killing
not
the
funny. I
baby.
shouldn't
So
have
I
laughed.
don't know
I'm
how
sorry.
that is a
I
health
hate
care
Jessie,
issue
man.
for the
I hate
child.
Jessie, bro.
Well,
I hate this thing.
so one of the things that when people describe abortion that way, the way I
What
look
way?
at of calling abortion murder, or they call a developing pregnancy a
What is
baby,
it?
what they're telling me is that they have a certain understanding about what a baby is, or about what they think healthcare is. If we're going to be precise in our language, baby is a cultural term, it's not a scientific or medical term. And you're not a baby before you're born. You're entitled to say that you don't believe that women should have abortion. But because of laws, you're not entitled to block a woman from having an abortion, or you're not entitled to force a woman to agree with your
But aren't you
definition.
taking a life inside the womb? Aren't you taking
I
a
am
life?
actually a pregnancy. When you do an abortion, yes, a pregnancy does end a life,
So,
but does it end
so
a
you
person?
are killing a unborn child if you're taking a life. You're not taking the life of an animal. You're not taking the life of the woman. So you're taking the life of a
Preach,
child.
brother.
Is that right?
I disagree with you. I
Of
So
course
you
you
understand
are
do.
what you're saying.
killing.
All right. So of course she disagrees. But look, man.
Oh man.
Look, when you have an abort, see what this conversation isn't doing is not giving the backdrop. Like we're just talking about abortions right now. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? The backdrop is actions took place to impregnate this woman.
Correct.
So, me personally, I am totally against having an abortion as a form of contraceptive. If you get raped, that's different. That's different. You know, I'm not going to be the person out there saying, no, you better carry that baby to term. I'm not one of those fucking like evangelical fucking Christians that's going to, hold you to it and you
Mm-hmm.
better not abort
Right.
that
Right.
baby. Look, like, what? Someone fucking violated your body, not just your body, like everything, your mental, everything. I'm a man. I can't even bring the words to even do 50% of what actually occurs to these women that happens to. So I'm not going to try to.
Right.
I'm just saying very clearly, if that's the case, do whatever the fuck you want to do. If you're an evangelical and you get raped and you want to have that baby, that's up to you. You know, and if you don't want to have the baby, by all means, you're not going to hear shit from me. But if you're able-bodied and you were able-bodied when you lay down and you were able-bodied when you received that cum dumpster, and then you know what? You need to be responsible. It's that simple. It's that simple. You know, we're not the conversation that they're having. They're not talking about how we get there. They're not talking about how Planned Parenthood is funded. They're not talking about none of that stuff. But that's what I'm trying to inject into the conversation. You know, a lot of these abortions do come from taxpayers' dollars, and a lot of these Planned Parenthood buildings are located in inner cities, and that's not by a coincidence. You know, this is a form of eugenics. You know, but people don't want to. They don't want to talk about that, especially Black people. Yo, do you know the percentage of Black women that have abortions?
It's pretty high, as far as if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I believe it was last time I checked, like 66% or something like that. Like Black women make up the overwhelming majority in ratio of abortions, but only make up like 7% of the population. Like
So
it's a substitute for fucking a condom.
what I will say is that first off, I'm very well aware of the points that you're making from a sociological impact perspective. My problem with this whole conversation is this guy didn't look ready to play. All right. And that's my issue that I usually have with the Jessie Peterson interviews. And this is what makes it comical, is because a man such as Jessie, with a very simple, with a simple dialogue, is having a conversation with people who are supposed to be the experts in the fields that they are in fact coming to have a discussion on. And right off the bat, you can tell that this guy is just he's not prepared. He's not prepared at all. Like, it's very hard for me to sit here and obviously and to create an argument, which I will, because I do believe there is some merit to what the good doctor is saying. But at the same token, I just don't think that in this conversation he is going to be able to slam it home the way that's necessary to be able to even create a nice, healthy dialogue around the conversation. That's just my issue.
Okay. All right. Yeah. No, I get it. So you want to plant your seed for defeat early. You like one of those LeBron James super fanboys over here. You over here just trying to like throw out that caveat, like just in case.
Where the hell did you even get plant your seed for? Where'd you go to slave ebonics?
Slave ebonics. Yes, master. Gotta plant these seeds, master.
That's some slanted. That's some slavism that you just threw at me. Would you just say plant some seed?
You heard the fuck I said? Plant them sunflower seeds, nigga.
You've been talking to Bubba too much, man. You need
oh,
to chill out, man.
That's fucked up.
Bubba, I love you. Oh, Bubba, I love you, man. Oh, Bubba don't watch this. Bubba don't watch this. I love you, Bubba. Oh, I need your help. Man.
I said plant your seed.
I need your help in my back
defeat, nigga.
Oh, plant your feet for defeat. Oh, I said you said plant your seed for your feet. Oh my God. Oh, I'm over here like Ninja. What are you talking to? Beat my meat on my feet? Like,
hold on, wait.
Now,
pause,
I mean,
nigga.
if that, see, exactly. That's why I was like, come on, man. What are you doing right now?
Nah, man.
That sounds wild.
Nah. I see what you're trying to do.
Nah, but there'll be no defeat whatsoever, because at the end of the day, we here at M.A.S Media. We get to go and we get the enlightenment cracking, and at the end of the day, we make it a nice, healthy snack of enrichment. So
healthy snack of enrichment.
Continuing the combo.
All right, let's see.
You are killing an unborn child, right?
I'm not killing an unborn child.
You're taking the life of an unborn child.
I'm ending a pregnancy.
But does that require you to take the life of the child that's in the woman's womb?
I don't define a pregnancy as a child, and I'm like
does it have a life?
There's some shit,
Is it a living?
This combo is
living. It is a life.
It
is a human being, because women don't have puppies, but it is not a baby. And if it were a baby, it would be a person. Correct.
So the reality
let me finish.
So the reality is you are taking a life.
So do you want to have a dialogue, or do you want to? You want to let me answer your question?
Nah,
or
hell no,
answer my
Jesse.
question?
Answer the
Fry that
question about,
nigga.
are you taking a life?
Okay. Yes, an abortion ends a life. Now, what I asked you was, you're saying a pregnancy is a baby, right?
It's an unborn child.
It's an unborn child. Okay.
Yes.
So if I kill a child, that's murder, right?
You mean the one that's
If
born
I kill a
already?
child,
Yes.
you say, okay. So if I'm killing a child, if I'm doing an abortion in an abortion clinic, if you call the police, will they come and arrest me?
Oh my God!
It
See, this is what
won't
I'm
because
talking
of the
about.
law.
Why?
But
What does the
that still doesn't take away the fact that
Oh
you're
my
taking
God!
a life. And we both agree that you are taking a life.
correct?
Do you believe that human
It's breaking up a
beings are
little
in
bit.
a fallen state? Not, and why
No,
not?
because I think that
All right, hold
it requires a biblical literalism, and it requires an understanding that says everybody is immoral and that they have to be
hold on.
redeemed. This
Shit
is
won't
what the
stop.
life of Jesus Christ meant.
You believe at one point that, and we needed to repent.
I had
and own that.
understanding.
Yeah, for some reason it came out of full screen mode, and then it started acting a fool. So I'm gonna pull it back up. But as to what they were saying,
Mm-hmm.
he's trying to make it seem like, oh, if I'm not killing babies, I'm killing an unborn child or whatever, or taking the life away from an unborn child. So look, look, my wife she just started her third trimester, right? Now, obviously, most abortions don't go that late, but I said most. So, with that being the case, if you have a baby that's almost a term and you quote unquote take that life away, like that baby's damn near fully developed. He's coming out. You know what I'm saying? Ready. So I think that once you start trying to get into these like little like nuanced differences, I think that's when like you're fucking up and you're wrong. That's
Yeah,
my opinion. 'Cause
nah,
obviously, he's a doctor. He
nah,
has to make himself feel better going to bed at
yeah,
night.
but that doesn't mean a doctor again can be is always branded an eloquent speaker. I mean, the analogy that he gave, Lord, man, just throw the cuffs on your arms as we speak,
Hold on
man.
one
Like,
second,
yep.
because I'm trying to get this video back up, and I guess I can't skip this ad. Did you hear
No,
that
just
or
let the
not?
play. Yeah, just let the ad play, man. If you can't skip it, just let it play.
Nah, I don't get no money for that shit. So nah, they ain't doing
Oh,
that. When I
oh,
get paid for the ads, they get to play.
oh,
And nah, we ain't doing that.
oh my.
All right. So now I got the video back up. I'm about to pull it up. That way we can continue. Oh, here we go with the full screen bullshit again. This is why it went down. I tried to make it. It came out of full screen by mistake, and then I tried to make it full screen again, and then the shit started acting crazy. Bear with me, y'all who's watching. I see we got somebody watching on live. We are talking about abortion and Planned Parenthood right now. This is your boy Dubble A, Heff, and obviously this is my co-host from the podcast, M.A.S Media, Big Mike. So I'm trying to get this pulled back up. Bear with me. Chrome tab. All right. So I'm sharing right now the screen. Oh, damn. All right. Okay. It's supposed to change now. All right, here we go.
Oh, royalty. All right, so we're good.
Yeah, I'm not gonna make it full screen because then it might fuck up again.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
just leave it.
just leave it like that. What was I saying?
Now,
Yeah, so I mean,
what I asked
oh,
you was,
yeah.
My fault. No, my fault.
No. Just real quick, again, it chalks it up to who the quality of people that they're bringing on. I'm sure this guy has a ton of experience within his field, but at the same token, these interviews, if you're not prepared for who you're going to be speaking with, because I don't think this is episode 1 of Jessie Peterson's convos or his web series. So for him to come on here and not be ready and able to provide better quality analogies to be able to hammer home his point is exactly why I'm laughing. I'm not laughing at abortion. I don't think abortion's funny. So for all of you that may come in and ram the horn, saying that oh, this guy, what's this guy sick, man? He thinks this shit's a game. No, I'm not laughing. I'm laughing at the comical nature behind Jesse Peterson's interviews. So with that, let's continue to laugh.
Oh wow.
You're saying a pregnancy is a baby, right?
It's an unborn child.
It's an unborn child, okay?
Yes.
So if I kill a child, that's murder, right?
You mean the one that's
If I kill a
born
child,
already?
you
Yes.
say, okay. So if I'm killing a child, if I'm doing an abortion in an abortion clinic, the police, will they come and arrest me?
They
What kind of
won't
fucking
because
question is
because
that?
of the law.
Why?
But that still
What
doesn't
does the
take
law
away.
say?
That still doesn't take away the fact that you're
He
taking
said,
life. And we both agree that you are
What?
taking a life. Do you believe that human beings are in a fallen state?
No.
You do not, and
I
why
know.
not?
Because I think that as a biblical literalism, and it requires an understanding that says that everybody is immoral and that they have to be redeemed in some way. I have a different understanding and a different significance of what the life of Jesus Christ meant.
Grew up in the South. You
Let me
learned.
stop that right there. So that
how do
like
we get?
yo,
Damn it!
yeah, but since you brought us there, like, look,
I'm
motherfucker, like,
trying.
I'm tired of this whole like
Yeah.
subjective approach to the Bible. You know what I'm saying?
This is so frustrating.
Like everyone just tries to
This
use.
guy's killing me.
Mike, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh yeah. So can you hear me like on time or is it delayed?
Uh, it's a little delayed. Yeah.
I wonder why. All right. Anyway, um, the Bible, people keep trying to use it like it's so super subjective, and it's really not. And when people like this guy do what he just tried to do, that's when we have a lot of problems. Like, oh, well, I read the Bible is like, women can teach the Bible. You can have as many abortions as you want, and fucking women can preach, and gays could get married, and all this nonsense and shit like that. That is not in the Bible. Actually, the opposite's in the Bible. Like people just make up their own shit and then try to use the Bible like no. Let's stop all that, please. Just have your conversation and try to promote or help yourself sleep better at night by being an abortion fucking doctor without including the fucking Bible in it. Okay. And for those of you out there that's going to try to hit me with the bitter water verse in Numbers, you gotta understand something. That was for a very specific reason that the Most High had these women have abortions. Adultery is a sin. So, they should just be happy that they fucking had an abortion by the Most High, as opposed to fucking burning for eternity in hell. And
Um.
some of them probably did, and they deserve it.
Oh. Oh my. Okay. Well. Yeah, we just went to a dark place, and it's okay. You know what I mean? I'm here to bring the light. And honestly, I think we're going down a deep well, and I don't think this man, this doctor, is really helping that point. I mean, I'm trying, I'm trying to hear him out, and give him some credence to the things that he says. Uh, but biblical, what do you say? Biblical theorism, is that what he threw? Is that the? Ah, man, he went down the well, and Jesse didn't even give him the bait, and I think that's it shows that again, like he came in with a heightened sense of an agenda, um and for me it makes it very hard to have a conversation because we bounced, you know what I mean, like I was fine. The analogy sucked as it may, but at least we were sticking to a strong point. I'm also one of those people that just I don't put too much stock into the I don't want to say the word of the Bible, but essentially the I think that's what we say, biblical literalism, um that put too much stock into the things that are being warped to be said, right? Because the conversation and the argument that you're making can be made on the other side of the aisle, right? Where individuals have utilized the Bible's good word, essentially to enslave and indoctrinate individuals, right?
Hmm.
And I'm sure that wasn't in the Bible. You know what I mean? So there's no perfect sense of how to interpret the Bible, and I think that was the purpose of why it was created in such fashion, right? Because at the end of the day, you're leaving a lot of these conversations to faith, right? So who's to say when it's all said and done, that God doesn't have not saying the doctor's view, but the apologist view on on abortions in itself. I don't pretend to
Okay.
understand the mindset behind God, because that's
Yeah,
impossible.
well, that's what I'm saying. Probably should have just left that out.
Correct. Yeah, I
And I
agree
don't know
with
why
that.
he went down that road. Like you said,
That's a
Jesse didn't
dangerous
lead him
well.
there. He just
Yeah,
he just leaped.
yeah, that's a
But
dangerous well.
but
I think he
yeah,
panicked.
well,
I think he definitely panicked, and I think it started when he asked, "Would it be murder if I, if you call the cops?"
oh yeah.
I think that you could literally watch. If I could see the glisten of sweat on his forehead, I'm sure it would have, gotten even more so after he started giving that booty analogy on murder. But Lord, I'm trying, man. I'm
We're a
trying. I
Christian,
Absolutely.
forgot the doctor's
and
name.
you
Absolutely.
believed at one point that
I don't
we
think
were in a
anything.
fallen state due to sin, and we needed to repent
I
and
had that
overcome that.
understanding,
What
yes.
changed your
What
mind about
changed my
that?
mind is
Yes.
I understand that the Bible is a sacred text and that I don't approach the Bible literally as the Word of God. There have been too many translations. Do you speak Aramaic?
No,
Do you speak Hebrew?
I don't.
Or do you speak Greek?
I don't.
Those were
He's
the
going
original
down
texts of the Bible, right?
this route.
Right.
The
Oh
Bible's
man,
been
this nigga.
translated into English, right?
Right.
You can
What do
have
they say,
different
baby?
versions,
What is
even
you
in
doing?
English, there are different translations. That doesn't mean that the Bible's not significant as sacred text, but it means, do you have to approach the Bible as being literally true? I don't.
So you grew up in Alabama. You
Oh, hold on. Let me
believe.
stop right there. Look, yeah,
Fuck.
the Nick.
Fuck.
First and foremost, there
Fuck.
are many translations of the Bible
Oh.
from those different languages that he brought up. Like obviously, we know that Jesus Christ wasn't called Jesus Christ. There wasn't no J's back then. We get all that. So that was a tired ass fucking. Uh,
Damn it.
I can't even think of the word right now, but like that was a very tired attack or defense. Not even defense, because the nigga just went on it on his own. So I can't even call it
Yeah,
defense.
absolutely.
That was just a tired ass attack that
Yeah.
he just put out there. And obviously he don't know no better. So I'm not going to fillet his ass right now about that. But I will double down on my stance with the only time, to my knowledge, from reading the Bible, that anything close to abortion is brought up is in Numbers, and that was to prevent an adulterous wife from giving birth to a baby out of wedlock.
Hmm.
That was it. And that was the word of God. So I don't know how people are going to try to spin it to say that God said something else, or that there's a loophole. So he should just stay off this topic, because that's not helping his case
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah. That's a deeper conversation that I don't think they have time to go over.
I
In
mean,
this
we're only
session.
6 minutes in, so they might got time. I don't know.
No, because again, like, they didn't mean to go down this route. Like, I'm sure Jesse on his little tablet there, his little go whatever that shit is. I'm sure he didn't have that breakout scheduled for right then. So
Nah, definitely not. Yeah,
so yeah.
probably not.
So he's probably like, well, let me get back to my straight edge questions that I'm gonna kill him even more on.
I
And
don't know, because Jesse likes going down the biblical route, so he might bring him out to drown. Who
all he's
knows?
gonna say is why. He's gonna
That
ask
one
why.
time that we were sinners who
The
needed
guy's gonna
repentance.
stumble.
Absolutely.
What in the Bible did you read that said to you,
Here we
no, that's not true? Did you read something in the Bible that changed your mind?
No,
or
it
you
was
just
how I chose to read the Bible that changed.
and you
The
chose-
Bible as a
This nigga sound like a liberal black woman. Sorry to
Hey.
99% of the liberal black women, because but
Oh,
most of y'all batshit crazy, and most of y'all make up your own facts anyway. But that nigga sound just like them. Like, oh no, it's not about the facts. It's about how I choose to interpret the facts. Like, whoa, wait,
Numbers,
what,
man.
nigga?
I can't with you, man.
What?
Those
What?
numbers, man. I
No,
cannot.
look, I love black women. Don't get me wrong, but a huge
something
problem
else.
that we have right now, and especially as it pertains to this conversation,
Mm.
they having way too many abortions.
Interesting.
So I'm
No,
talking to them.
no,
They know who I'm talking to.
you're talking that, but it's to call them. I'm sure liberal black women aren't the only ones having abortions, though.
Well, I mean, we're talking about black women, all right? I mean,
Yeah, that's
obviously,
fine.
women in general, but yeah, black
Right.
women. Look, most conservative black women aren't gonna have an abortion because they're conservative. That goes against their values, and most of them will probably be married because that goes with their values. That's more in line with their values, as opposed to just living your life liberally and being the best you can be when you wanna be. So
I mean, I believe that they won't. There's going to be a leaning away from that sense Absolutely, but do I think that there's, there are obviously always exceptions to the rules, right? So, I just don't want to pin it on those two sides of the spectrum because at the end of the day, a woman is a woman. You know what I mean? God didn't create us to be conservative, nor liberal. So I think that's the reason why I'm saying I just want to be careful before we start denigrating, creating that political sphere
No. I
around
don't
this.
mean when I say liberal, I'm not talking about from a political standpoint. It's from an ideological standpoint. So obviously, ideologically, as a woman, if you lean towards like feminism and all that feminist movement and shit like that, that's a liberal ideology.
But there wouldn't have been it wouldn't have been a liberal and nor conservative would have been introduced if it wasn't for politics, no? So
No, I actually none of that would have been introduced if it wasn't for civilization advancing and us not being a third world country or like less than that
so
because
you're
we've
looking
made
at
so
more
many
so.
advancements.
Mhm.
Because we made so many advancements, obviously, these women had the luxury to go around and start fucking bitching about shit they got no business bitching
So you're
about.
not talking about the word is because I was specifically speaking on the word. You're talking about the sense of the idea behind the word.
I'm not talking about liberal black women as like they vote Democrat. I mean liberal like as in the ideology. They believe in like the whole like I don't need a man. The feminist movement, me and my sisters, all that bullshit. Yeah, that's a liberal mindset. That's a liberal woman.
Yeah, I don't limit it to that. Um, just because
It's not
again,
limited to that. I mean, it's more than that.
it creates a political and absolutely, and that's what I'm saying. But
No, no,
when
no, no,
you
no, no.
slap
It,
that
it
on there,
doesn't.
it
It doesn't
absolutely
create it.
does.
It doesn't create it.
It
No,
absolutely does.
when I
Because if you say that
obviously
enough, someone is going to think that I'm not saying it's true, but they're going to automatically assume that you're conservative with the
well,
way that you
people make
speak.
a lot of assumptions. People make a lot of
Sure,
assumptions. That's fine.
sure, but
That's
that's
fine.
political. That's
No,
political.
no, no,
No, I'm saying
I
that's
made
the
it.
sense that they're going to take it. That's where I'm coming from.
Well, I will
That's
say this though. I will add this little piece on. I'm
mhm.
not talking about it from a political standpoint,
I
but
understand you're
I'm
not.
pretty sure that there is a huge correlation with those numbers of those
Sure.
women that I deem to be quote unquote liberal and how they quote unquote vote. Because
Uh-huh.
obviously, if those are your views, then you're not going to vote for anyone that's running under a conservative banner. So I'm
Sure.
not going to sit here and try to just automatically link it to that. But I'm willing to bet that there's definitely a huge correlation with that.
Which is why I would consider it political. But at the same token, I get that you're trying to say that you're not coming from that world, and that's perfectly fine. But I'm speaking for those that are going to listen in. But hey, you are telling us now, so that all we can do is
Yeah.
take your word for it.
So no. So I get what you're saying, but you got to understand if, for instance,
Oh,
I'm not talking about anything like political when it comes to quote unquote black people.
understood.
That's the last thing that we need to be worrying about right now. Maybe not the last thing, but it's far down the list. There's other issues that we have
Right.
um, that we should be talking about before it comes to anything political based or in politics. So it's the ideologies that I think we need to address before we
Absolutely.
even get to that,
Yeah.
because that's what's literally deteriorating the community from the inside out,
And I'm fine with that.
regardless of how they
Yeah.
vote.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. The ideologies. I just don't. I'm not
Yeah.
good with the stamps. That's what I'm referring to.
Well, if you have certain ideologies, you realize. Well, look, people going to stamp you however they want to stamp you. You're not
Right.
going to like it. You're not going to
Which is
agree
what you're
with it.
doing. Yes.
And
Absolutely.
yeah. Well, but that's how I have to identify it. That way, that my viewers and listeners can
Mm,
understand
I
who
see.
the who I'm talking about. If I don't sit here and tell you who and why, then they're not going to know how to navigate through that. They have to understand the liberal black female is not your quote unquote friend. She's borderline your goddamn enemy. She sees you as an enemy, black man, in most cases, or competition, especially in the workforce.
Interesting.
And then she'll be the first one to be like, "Oh, I'm better than this. I don't need no nigga." Da, 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 and then be fucking 30 years old and a VP or a JVP, but single and fucking just always going out and taking pictures of her food and her cat or her dog. You know what I'm saying? So like, there's a lot of issues there, but that's a whole different story for a different day. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's not going the political route. It's ideology. It's the ideology.
Uh huh. Okay.
As a text can't reference itself.
So you decide that I'm going to read the Bible and change my mind that we are in a fallen state.
I decided that I was going to read the Bible and decide, how does the Bible speak to me, and how does this Bible speak to us today, and so that it has relevance to us today. The Bible doesn't speak about traffic on the 405, right?
Not that I'm
No,
aware.
right. So how I behave on the 405 can be derived about what suppose I say the Bible teaches me in terms of how I should interact with other people, right?
What I'm not getting, what was it? How did you make up your mind, and what was it in the Bible that confirmed what you thought about the fallen state, about sin? Is there? Can you cite me one thing that said you're specific in the Bible that told you that? Your own mind about that?
Well, in accordance to Romans 12, you're absolutely right. I did make up my own mind where Paul said that every person needs to be person. If you may recall in the Bible, in the book of Romans, where people in the church will bring about whether or not you literally should eat meat or herbs. Paul said people interpret the Bible according to being fully persuaded in your own mind.
Is it
That's
possible
how I
you
believe.
could be wrong now?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay.
Is it possible that you could be wrong?
No, absolutely
Okay,
not.
that's where we differ. You can't imagine how you can. Voltaire
I
said
would if
that.
I were you.
If I would question myself too.
Let me do this.
Have you ever changed your mind about anything?
I have.
Okay. And why don't?
But that's why
But if for
at
you to
least
change your
questioning-
mind, you had to think about their other possibilities, right?
That's why I'm glad that you're at least thinking about the way you feel about Christianity and abortion now and sin and all that, because you are wrong, and by you thinking about it, maybe you get back track.
Let me say to you, I'm absolutely comfortable with the fact that you think I'm wrong.
And now, a word from our sponsor.
I am
we're not doing
so merchandise white
What was the need for
on
him
the
to
back
say that?
is a gift. Excellent. Can you imagine? You're gonna love it. Order them now. What made you think that you are a Christian?
Okay. Why do you question that?
There we go.
No. You said you are, but what made you think that
Why
you
do you
are?
question that?
No, answer that for me. What made you think that you are a Christian?
Well, why do you think that you're a Christian?
Can you answer that for me?
I'm
doing the interview. You're my guest.
And I'm responding.
And you're the expert here, so I'm here to ask. What made you think that?
I'm not the expert on your spirituality, nor are you the expert on mine.
So what
He's
made
asking you the
think that
question,
are a
nigga.
Christian?
To the satisfaction of me being persuaded in my own mind, and in the way that we all have to know our spirituality for ourselves, I am certain that I am clear with my relationship with my Creator, and that I stand before my God with the acceptance of my God, and that
You know what? All of that shit pisses me off. It's very reminiscent when you hear a lot of women say this, like, "Oh, that's my truth." Like I'm tired of hearing this, my truth, as if the truth is subjective. The truth is the fucking truth. You know what I'm saying? Like, can we all just agree? Like, the truth is the truth. You can have your truth. That doesn't make it the fucking truth. All right. And I'm concerned with
I
the
see where you're
truth.
going.
And as far as this guy's talking, like, oh, my Bible, my Creator, and all this stuff, he's trying to make it very subjective so that way no one can tell him otherwise. But unfortunately, dude, that's not how the fucking Bible works. Don't get me wrong. The Bible is a parable. There's a lot of nuance and throw off. But at the end of the day,
Right.
there's still many scripts that are very fucking direct. You know what I'm saying? Very direct. So I don't know how he's trying to make this little fucking pigeonhole, but nah, man, it's not like, oh, my Bible, my Savior, my Creator, all that shit. Like, nah, that's not how it works.
I don't again, like, this is one of those that these are tough for me. You know what I mean? I get what you're saying as far as warping the truth to fit your narrative. But do any of us really know the truth though?
About abortion?
Not even just to the board. I mean, because this is the conversation now that they're having as far as from a spirituality perspective, right? And you saw him just started going on his own little, run around. But can I say that, we all don't, take a bit of the truth, or not even say a bit of it, just take the truth in itself and then create our own meaning and narrative around that said truth. I feel like that's what the Bible was for a majority of it.
Yeah, but again, I mean, I get what you're saying, but from my knowledge of the Bible, with how I was taught to understand the Bible,
Mm-hmm.
is that especially let's keep it relevant to abortion.
Sure, yeah.
In the Bible, it talks about abortion through numbers, and it's talking about women who were adulterers.
Okay.
That's the only time, to my knowledge, that the Bible speaks about abortion.
Okay.
And then the Lord at that time made it very clear who was to drink the bitter water and what were the reasons why she was to drink the bitter water and what would happen after she drank the bitter water. If she did not cheat and she was not adulterous, nothing won't happen. But if she did, her womb would swell and she would literally have an abortion. It would cause the baby to be aborted. So
Okay.
for this guy to be uh, an alleged Bible toter or touter, whatever you want to call it,
Hmm.
to say that I'm an abortion doctor and I'm using the Bible as justification to it. I don't see in the Bible where it says, "Oh, yeah, oh, also you could fuck around and just have the baby fucking aborted too." I don't
Mm.
see where that is. So for him to try to keep making that link, that's what's really like irking me right now. Like, dude,
Okay.
I get it.
I get
You
I
want to
get
help
where you're coming from.
yourself sleep better at night, but like leave the Bible out of it.
Okay. I can understand, where you're feeling. I mean, well, when you're with your explanation on that. That because my first question is going to be like, because as you mentioned, there's only within numbers in the Bible, you mentioned there's only one sort of message or mention, sorry, of abortion in the Bible, but no, there was no other mention of abortion itself within the Bible outside of numbers, right? So then doesn't that leave creative license to then create that meaning? That's my
No,
question.
no, because from my interpretation, and I don't want to stay stuck on the Bible too long, but from my
Yeah, sure.
interpretation, uh, Christ, not Christ, the Most High said
And the
that
Most
this
High,
was
sorry,
for women,
when you refer to the Most High, who are you referring to?
God,
Oh, okay, because I didn't know if you
not
were
not
also.
not Jesus, not Jesus in the flesh,
No,
but
I
God.
didn't know if you were going from like a Mus I mean like a Muslim, sorry, an
No,
Islamic
no, no,
perspective. So I
no,
just want
nope,
to. All right.
nope.
Yep.
So he said it was for adulterous women. Now, if this guy said if he got on this platform today and said, "Yeah, no, I do abortions, but I only do it for women that have sex out of wedlock," then I wouldn't have an issue with that. I would have no
Hmm.
issue with that at all.
You have
But
no issue. You
to,
have no issue. You have issue.
no, I would if he said I only do abortions on women that have sex out of wedlock and
Okay.
these pregnancies come from that, then I would have no issue with that because
Okay.
then yes, you could tie the Bible to that and say, and this is my justification.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But for you to just be doing it on anybody and just
Mm.
like saying, "Hey, it's normal. It's normal. It's the safest procedure that women can have." Like,
Right.
no, man, it's not like no, it's not meant for contraceptive.
Okay.
Okay, and nowhere in the Bible is God talking about having babies or quote unquote in his terms, this guy's terms, life taken away from a mother and a father in the right situation. God went and said, "Go." He said, "Go forth and multiply."
Right.
That's what the nigga said. So like, so
Well,
multiplying
he said,
isn't
or
fucking having abortions.
someone said that he spoke through him.
Hmm. I thought it was him, but I'd have to double check. I don't have my Bible on me right now. I'm pretty sure the Most High said, "Go forth and multiply." But then again, it could have been somebody else. But you implanted doubt in my mind. But regardless,
Right.
regardless, that is like again, like I said, the Bible's a parable, but there's things that are very straightforward and direct. Go forth and multiply is very fucking straightforward and direct.
Right.
And
Now.
that goes to the gays too. Gays can't
Oh.
go do that. So apparently, like something ain't
Oh.
working here. And not to take a
Okay.
shot at the gays. I'm just saying when it pertains to the Bible, like look, you want to make your life choices, make your fucking choices. Leave the Bible out of it. You
Okay.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what I'm
I
talking
think you know what, I will say I'm fine with it just because the Bible is a very specific, just like the Quran, just like the uh what's the one for the Hebrew religion, the
about.
Torah.
They have the Old Testament, the Torah,
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
Talmud.
So with those avenues, right? That's a very specific area within human development and civilization throughout our time. right? So like if I just think that some people try too hard, which is something that this guy's doing, to wrap in something that's been building for over. I mean, the Bible spans its stories from 10,000 years onward. Um, to the beginning of time essentially. So like you're going up against something that has had a very long standing stance in the realm of human, side. Whether or not it's right or wrong, you know, your arguments have to be, better set in, in their justification. And I think that's my issue sort of with this whole conversation from this doctor and such, is that when you start to bounce and you pick and choose, you give a lot of license to individuals who, like yourself, who are very well versed in the Bible, to then souffle you, for lack of a better term, right? And your stance may have some merit, because you've made it very clear that there are stances for people, situations that that abortion has its merit. But I think when individuals try to, again, and this happens on both sides of the aisle, when they try to warp something that has, again, a placehold, and it's not going to essentially change. You can't maneuver it, you can't shake it, I mean, that's what those people who grew up in that time witnessed, and what they chose to speak on from their experience. Leave that there. Look at today and create your conversation and your arguments around what you're seeing today. And if there is some connection, keep it, like you're saying, I think, direct. But once you start bouncing around, you start, I don't deal with this biblical, literalisms and all that. But then you come back to the Bible to then bring up something that, bring up a
Yep.
verse that what you heard about. It's like you speak
Yeah.
on, what I'm not okay with with regards to this interview. It's
Yeah.
it's a shame.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah, I wish he
I'm definitely trying.
didn't go that route, because
Yeah.
I think that it definitely muddies a lot of his work. Because I'm
Yeah,
sure that he
exactly.
has, yeah, like you said, he might have some good things to say. I mean, it's not going to change my thoughts on it,
Absolutely.
but I'm sure that he has, better way of getting that out there.
Yeah, he's
instead of
staying in
trying
the
to go that
water.
route.
He's staying in the water, and
Yeah.
now it's like,
Let's see what else he has to say.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame you.
I don't have to open it to your scrutiny or anybody else's.
But what answer? What
he's
is it
making it
about
personal.
you?
It's not the answer that you want.
What is it about you that made you think today that you are a Christian? What is it
about you
what
that
is it-
allows you to question that?
What is it about you?
becoming
What authority do you hold to question that?
Well, I'm interviewing you. I'm
Well,
trying to
that doesn't give you authority, and I'm
Uh,
giving you the information that you don't have the right to question that. If you ask me if I'm a Christian and I say yes, how are you going to verify that I am or
It's
not?
starting to sound like a
So there's nothing about you
You sound like a big
that
asshole.
can convince you that you are
You
a
can't
Christian.
question it.
Well,
You can't
there's
like,
nothing about me that can convince you that I'm
I'm
a
asking
Christian.
you that. Is
Well,
there
I don't
anything?
question that. You
because
do.
you haven't given me anything.
Oh, okay, well, I haven't given you anything to your
Yes.
satisfaction. You can't look into my heart and tell me what's there.
That's
you
why
can't
I'm
tell me
asking
what's
you
not.
about your heart.
Well, I don't go around telling people what's in my heart, because I can't say that to your satisfaction.
So
and
it's-
so I'm never going to question yours. It could
Oh,
be
Lord.
questionable about what makes you think that you're empowered to
We've
question
gone-
the spiritual,
we've gone
the spiritual state of somebody else. Don't you think that's kind of arrogant?
No,
and presumptuous?
I'm trying to
didn't
get a better
question-
understanding of why you do the things you do.
Okay, I do
So-
the things I
like
do
this.
because
So did
I
you
believe
say-
that my conscience dictates what I should do, and I'm doing it to be right.
This is
It
the
doesn't
power.
have to
This
meet
is
your.
the power
Let
of
me
Jessie.
ask, do you, speaking of consciousness, do you have the mind of God or Satan?
Satan.
You're asking me
Look
non-questions,
at-
because if I say I believe that I have the mind of God, you're going to say, how do you know? If I say I believe I have the mind of Satan, you say, aha. So if you really want to do an informative interview, ask me some questions that are really about the issue that you want to talk about.
We'll get
And
to
from
that.
what I understand, this isn't about, you didn't invite me. I'm here I came here at your invitation without knowing anything about who you are. And
Well,
what
that was
agenda
your
is.
fucking mistake.
And I
Whose
didn't come
fault?
here to have you openly scrutinize what you
This is
think
what I
my
was
moral
talking about.
compass is. If you want to talk about abortion, if the right of women,
Let
if
me-
you don't want to talk about that, we can end the interview. And I'm happy
Let
to
me
have had
just
this
ask this, and
opportunity.
then we'll move on. Do you believe there's good and evil?
Yeah. This shit
That's
is
it.
right now.
He got him. Jesse got him. Yeah, Jesse got him. Yeah, that's the power of Jesse. That's exactly what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking. His questions are essentially they're like they're incredibly direct. They're incredibly simple, and yet you saw the pause. He's taking the pause and he's taking the piss, and now he's fucking. He's made it a whole personal thing when regards to the questioner's not about. It really they're not a. He made them feel like he was being attacked. He made himself feel like he was being attacked, and now here we go.
Yeah.
It's a shame, man. This whole conversation got lost, man.
He said he made himself feel like
I
he was
can't.
being attacked. Yo, this shit's hilarious,
Yo,
bro.
Evil.
dude,
I absolutely
he's in
do.
fight or flight mode.
And is it good to perform abortions or evil?
It's good to perform abortions when women seek them and they need them and they ask me to do it and I'm trained to do it and I provide.
That's a whole bunch of bullshit, nigga. See, no. It's good to give women abortions when they were raped, or if it's out of wedlock, like adultery. That's the only time, dude. Because they asked for it is not a good fucking reason. Okay, they're asking for an abortion because obviously they didn't get they didn't get Plan B. They didn't look. This is my mindset. If you are able-bodied and able-minded to fucking do the act, just like if you commit a crime and you're able-bodied and able-minded at the time of said crime, then you need to do the fucking time. And in this instance, the time is fucking have that baby and do the best you fucking can. You don't get to fucking just edge out a fucking life because you ain't shit or you made a fucking a bad decision one night. Nah, that's not how this shit go. That's not how it go.
Yeah, I would usually would tend to agree with you. I think this what I have an issue with is not in what you're saying because obviously there's a ton of merit in that, and I think that's where I usually align with. My problem is this guy and the way that he is choosing to take on these questions. Answer the question. And then once you answer it, then you have the license to then go back to Jessie and say, what was the importance behind that question? Just say it's good to give women abortions. I know it doesn't sound, it's not going to, just because at the end of the day, Jessie's winning once you start dancing. Right?
Yeah.
And once you start giving all this extra soliloquy to the whole man, just say it's good, it's good to give women abortions. Now, Jessie, I'll ask you, because again, it's an interview and you're able to have, back and forth in an interview, you can inquire once you answer the question at face value, just like why would you make utilize that question for distinction? That's it. That's it. Now he can create more questions. If he's a good interviewer, he can create more questions from there based upon, why he asked it. But if you're just going to mouth spit all that, you're leaving the door so far open to, to get pissed all over, man. This guy he's definitely not media trained. I don't think he's media trained, which I don't say is a good or a bad thing, but it's definitely just apparent he hasn't been trained on how to
definitely not.
To do these types of interviews.
Yeah, obviously he didn't even do his own research on Jessie.
Yeah,
so
that's first and foremost. His people are not. If he's got a manager, I'm sure he's got an agent.
Provided for them. Yes, it is good to provide.
He ain't got no PR people.
I don't know what an unborn child is. I know what a fetus is. I know when you give birth, you become a child. I know how to end the process.
Is it good or evil for the fetus?
I don't real life in terms of absolute good and evil. I won't answer that to your satisfaction.
Does it bother you that it might be evil to the fetus?
It doesn't bother me at all because a fetus can't be more important than the woman carrying it.
In your book, Life Work.
What kind of bullshit was that?
You say you have a moral and Christian
That was a better question. Like I would have answered that question.
Tell me about that.
That would have given you some semblance of humanity.
It was my Christian understanding. Man. There are people who are not Christian who are very moral. Right? And moral is our orientation about what is right and what is wrong, okay? And ultimately, what is moral for you or for me may not be the same. And that's why, much to my disappointment,
see what I'm talking about? What the fuck does that mean?
Right, if it's going to lead us to some point of meaningful dialogue, I'm not offended by the fact that you question my moral compass or authority,
Did you say much to your disappointment?
much to your disappointment.
Oh, I see. So you're not going to give me a moral issue argument for
Tell me
abortion?
what is your definition of moral?
Well, you say that in your book. I'm just trying to understand what do you mean by that.
And I just said to you, let me slow it down.
Let me ask you this: where do you get your morals from?
We all have a moral compass. Mine is informed by the Christian understanding that I hold, the love and compassion that Jesus Christ demonstrated for people. I could have easily have chosen Islam.
Jesus Christ wasn't doing abortions,
religious identity at all, and that would make me no less moral.
And so you believe that a human being can develop morals or without believing in God?
There are places all around this world where people have never heard of God, and they treat people with human kindness and dignity.
That's not a sign of morals.
Well, then what?
Satan treats you well in order to deceive you.
Define
Isn't that true?
Well, tell me what you mean by morals.
Loving what's right with all your heart, soul, and might.
Okay.
And
so you can't do that without being a Christian.
You made that shit wrong.
You can't do it without believing in God. Because if you don't believe in Him, then you're of your father, the devil.
Why does God have to be a he?
And your heart is evil.
Oh, here we go with that. Oh, this nigga.
How do I know?
Oh, this nigga. I knew he was gay.
What's
He's
the
not
pudding?
a she.
What's the pudding? How do you know that
She's
God's not a she?
Because he's a he.
So do you mean God has a penis?
He is a masculine source.
God has a penis?
That's ridiculous.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
Why you would say that?
What does it mean to have a he? What does it mean?
You have really lost your way.
Okay.
You were like,
Yes, he has, Jesse.
No,
Yes, he
you
is.
said he.
Yes, he is.
What's the difference between a he and a she?
Let me get
What is
back
the
to that.
difference?
Let me get back to that.
God.
That's ridiculous.
Stop, please.
Okay,
Stop
it's ridiculous because you don't agree with it.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Somebody stop
hold on,
bleeding.
man. That was a lot to unpack.
Yeah, what time are we at, man?
We are at an hour.
Oof. Lord.
Dude,
Lord have mercy.
I'm
Stop the bleeding, yeah. I wish I was
this
there.
nigga is pathetic.
Yeah, it's a
He's
shame.
pathetic.
Man. It's a shame.
Yeah,
I tried.
Now he's talking this whole like woman is a god type thing. Like, yo, come on, man. But then you're gonna keep trying to reference the Bible with that too, please. You know what I'm saying? Like, please, bro, please.
Yeah, this is
stop that. You know, but I mean, honestly, I'm sure there's a lot more to that, but it's gonna probably be a lot of the same. So I don't think it's necessary to continue for me to get my ultimate point across, which is that brothers out there, quote unquote black men, if you are with a woman that would just so easily up and abort your baby without telling you or telling you after the fact, then you need to get out of that relationship, bro. Period. Because she doesn't respect you as a man, and she probably doesn't respect men in general. So you need to find a woman that's going to respect men in the male principle, and go from there. And if you already were with a person, you know what I'm saying, and y'all had an abortion, obviously the Bible says, when I was a child, I did. When I was a child, I did childish things. But now that I'm grown, I'm paraphrasing here. Now I do grown things. So look, you know, you may have done some things prior to like understanding, but now once you understand, you know, you're expected to handle yourself in a more proper way. So with that being said, what are your where you at right now, Mike?
No, I mean I tried really hard to see, you know, where this man was coming from. I don't even think we got to a point where he could really even go into where he was coming from. You know, because we dipped and dodged that conversation very quickly. But what I will say is that, you know, I can appreciate the medium that you are meeting at, because I know how finite you are in this type of conversation. And even the sense of, you know, you saying, you know, if the doctor was to say like, oh, you know, I give abortions for women that are, for people that are, well, women that are coming out of wedlock, that are in wedlock, I think is a very important distinction. And so that for me, I think I lean more so on your point as far as, you know, this isn't contraception, right?
Yeah.
A birth,
Exactly.
you know, the pill, what that little the little whatever thing that they women put
Yeah,
underneath or whatever,
yeah.
that these are things that you're supposed to utilize for not creating life essentially.
Mhm.
So when those things do malfunction or have their errors because they're only at 99%, then obviously the avenues are there for you to be able to take care of it as accordingly. But to make it a thing where this woman starts off the segment, this is the reason why I can't ride all the way with the people that sit on this side of the argument, is because there is a sense of irresponsibility that comes out, like this air of irresponsibility, and the woman being so long in her years, for her to come out and just simply, oh yeah, no, I won't say it was only my first time, you know, to start off
Oh yeah,
like that with that type of energy, like essentially, you know, this is a life. This is a potential life that you're
exactly.
eradicating. I don't think you should create that sort of ambiance in that sort of environment as far as the conversation. So that's
But
more so
but
what I'm
doesn't
speaking
that
to.
but doesn't that beg the question though? Because I agree with you 100% with that last part. But doesn't that
Right.
beg the question as to why that push? Because when I hear that push, it makes me think this is so disingenuous. And
Right.
like when you walk into
I can
a
understand
used
that.
car dealer and someone's trying to sell you some shit. You know what I'm saying? You know they're
Yeah.
trying to sell you. Same thing. Like, why are you trying to sell it?
Yeah.
There's got to be something behind it, and
Oh
it's
yeah. It's a
eugenics.
sense of power, man. It's a sense of power, dude.
Eugenics. That
Yeah,
they're
it's a
trying to
sense of power.
freaking look,
It's a sense of power.
look.
They're
Everyone
trying
listening right
to
now,
create that.
look up where all the Planned Parenthoods are at. Look up the locations where they're at, the towns, the quote unquote towns or cities. See where they're at. See where they're at. Because that's what they're
Yeah,
talking
man.
about. That's what they're promoting. And I'll tell
Yeah.
you where it's at before you even look it up. But still, look it up. Look it up. Don't let me be the end all be all when it comes to your information.
Mm-hmm.
Read and look shit up. That's what I do. Read and look shit up. But no, most of them are in the hoods and walking distance. You know what I'm saying? And look up who created eugenics. Look up all the people that's been tied to eugenics. This thing, it's like the BLM shit. Like it's right in front of your face, but you don't even realize
Mm.
it. That like they're working against you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
oh yeah, but they go hand in hand. Oh, the feminist movement. Oh yeah, you strong girl, more than a woman inside me. All of that bullshit. But at the end of the day, when you're singing that song with them, they're telling you to go down to
Yeah.
Planned Parenthood and get rid of that man's baby. You don't need that man's
Yeah.
baby.
I just
You
think
know what I'm saying?
Planned Parenthood was created for something very particular. It should have been, I feel like, in my opinion, it should have been very more so for those women that, are have a had trauma, sexual assault, all these different things, abuse, all these different things. Um and it created that void as to which, they needed to then go, and they were shameful of going to their doctor or their, physician to have that conversation. This creates an avenue for them to be able to take care of something that's so traumatic in its own right. I think that aspect of Planned Parenthood is amazing. But what you're talking about, the strategic implanting of said facilities, that's something I think I've had issues with for a very long time. So I can't even begin to try to argue against your point as far as what is the bigger picture here. And I think that's something that I hope our viewers, take into consideration. I mean, it's crazy we could say viewers now. Um,
Yeah, right.
but yeah, I just hope you take that into consideration, that, everything is not what it seems. So before you shoot down my co-host for his viewpoints, be very careful as to remove the emotion from the argument. All right, because I think you'll
Yeah.
see that he's not coming from a place of denigration, but more so from a place of creating salvation. And I think if you look at it from that sense, you will then be able to see where where it may rub you the wrong way just from the delivery. But hey, I can sit from this conversation and I can say fully that I can see where he's coming from. Absolutely. Even though if I was on the other side of the aisle, I could definitely see where his stances have merit. So yeah.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. I'll add this before we go is that a lot of brothers out there. Obviously, I say this all the time, but this channel is for quote unquote black men. Now, I'm not against any other demographic,
Right.
viewing it, taken away from the channel, but it's not created for y'all. I don't take the time out to do it for anyone else besides quote unquote black men,
Right.
because obviously I've said it many times. The buck starts and ends with the quote unquote black man. As strong as you are, will be as strong as the community as a whole will be. So as long as we can avoid certain pitfalls and we cannot be duped into thinking like that black, because that was a black man, that was a black
Yeah.
doctor,
Yeah.
but that was a black man, and he's out there, being a huge proponent because he was the guy that was on stage with the woman saying, "Oh, I had my first abortion in
Yeah.
whatever city she said." He was the
Clapping
guy next to
along.
her.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Clapping.
no, we don't need that. You know what I'm saying? Because again, black women are having abortions at the highest rate, and they make up one of the smallest demographics in the country. So that's terrible. That is terrible. They're killing our daughters and our sons, but they don't use that word because they try to make it palatable. But no, if they substituted abortions for killings, then it would be on the front page fucking news, and that's not by fucking happenstance. That's by design. So we have to be better. We have to don't lay down with a woman unless look if you're gonna shoot up the club. I'm not gonna come at you with some like ultra holy like biblical bullshit. If you're gonna shoot up the club, right? At least know that not even that. Be married. Let's start there. Be married. If you're not married, don't do it. Because if you shoot up the club and you're not married, then you could be tied to some bitch over some bullshit for the next 18 plus years of your life. Who the hell knows? She might let some other nigga shoot the club. Now your son got a brother that got a different father, and now that just makes things like very, very complicated. And then who knows? It could turn into some love triangle type bullshit, and now someone's getting killed or going to jail. So all that stuff stems from that. As a man, what you need to do is have order in your life. If you don't have order in your life, you invite chaos into your life. And then whatever comes from that chaos, that's on you. But my job that I've taken upon myself, and Mike as well, is to make sure, to ensure that as many brothers possible don't invite chaos into their life. Mike, I can't hear you.
Sorry.
You-
I had some background. I didn't want to make sure I muted that out. No, I was just saying, very well said, man. Couldn't have said any better.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you. Yeah. All right. So, I mean, with that being the case, I think we can wrap it up here. So Mike, did you have fun today?
Oh, sorry. Oh, this is awkward. Yes, I had an amazing time, man. This is fuck. Holy shit, this is a whole new world. A
A whole new world,
whole
a new fantastic
fantastic
point of
point of
view.
view.
No
Oh, okay.
one to
Okay.
tell us no
All right.
or where to go.
All right.
I'm
All
sorry.
right.
All right. So anyway,
Yes,
so
no, I
Mike,
had an amazing time,
hit
man.
hit them with the information where they can find us. Cause so look,
Yes.
y'all, we have a podcast. We have a podcast. Please do go find the podcast YouTube channel, like, subscribe, well, mainly subscribe, and then like everything.
Yep.
And then we're going to be doing these lives over there. Well, not these lives, because obviously I'm still going to have my channel, but I do have a podcast that I about all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Chime into the podcast. The podcast is now going visual as well to make it more accessible to everybody. So please do. Mike, what's the name of the YouTube podcast again?
Yes, so please go to, I think it was my fault actually. I had it on private. Should have had that shit on public. And that probably is exactly why people probably aren't able to find. Oh no, Jesus Lord. Yes, I just made it public, guys. So it's called the M.A.S Media channel. If you want to get specific, you can probably type in M.A.S, sorry, media and then channel. And it should come right up. We do have our anchor podcast episodes from season 1 and season 2 uh, circumvented into the website, I mean onto YouTube, so that way you can have an idea as to kind of what our content looks like through audio. And this is, sorry, the beginning of our web series on YouTube. So that is for our YouTube page. For our Facebook, we have the Moss Media, um, Moss Media for our Facebook. You can go to, I think it's at Black Kings Entertainment featuring Mass Media if you want to find that. And the link is, all the links to our social media channels are in our are on our YouTube channel, as well as on our Instagram at Moss_media615. Right, we have a link tree set up so you guys can go ahead and get that. So like, comment, follow, and
Yep.
subscribe.
Definitely, and leave comments and suggestions and all that stuff. And also, I just checked it again. If you just do a Google search, if you type in M.A.S. space media space podcast, it'll bring you straight up to it'll be a page full of us. So you can click on any
dope.
link to do whatever you got to do. Again, that's M.A.S. space media space podcast, and then you type that in Google search, and the whole first page is going to be links that you can find us. Listen to our podcast. So that's pretty cool. So obviously we're making moves. Obviously on my channel, y'all know this is new. So stay tuned for more to come. Obviously I'm gonna have Mike. We're gonna do some crossovers. I'm gonna have him come over here because I know I've been getting a lot of positive feedback from y'all from the last time that he was here. And also on top of that, as y'all saw, I did do the interview with the entrepreneur, Mr. Michael Peoples. So I'm happy that I got a lot of good feedback from that. A lot of you enjoyed that. So please do continue to support, show some love, like, share, subscribe, spread the word, and also comment, email me, whatever, email us on the podcast channel or the podcast email. Any ideas or topics that you want us to discuss or go over, and we'll be more than happy to oblige.
Send us links.
With that being said,
send us links, man.
Exactly. All right, y'all.